G'day guys, Casey here from Lured In Fishing. Today I want to share with you really important tip when it comes to using graphite fishing rods. So graphite fishing rods, super sensitive, super crisp, an absolute pleasure to use when it comes to lure fishing. The thing we need to be careful of with graphite rods is they can be quite fragile and they need to be used correctly. Now, with graphite fishing rods, they're built on a spine, really light material. It can be a little bit brittle, so it's important that when we're playing a fish, we keep a nice even bend on the rod. So I've got Glennie over here. Glennie's going to pretend to be my fish. Glennie has loaded that rod up, and we can see that we have nice even curve across the rod there. So it's bending right down here where it's tucked under my arm. It's bending all the way nice and even through the tip, no flat spots, no pressure on particular points in this rod. It is spread throughout the rod evenly. And we have a heap of power in this position. We can put a lot of hurt on that rod, we can pull really hard, and we'll start pulling drag before anything happens to our rod. Now, with graphite rods, depending on where the fish is, kind of depends where you can put the rod. In this instance, with Glenn being down there, we have the rod loaded up, so I'm relatively horizontal. I'm not pointing the rod up to the sky, it's pretty much pointed straight in front of me. If Glenn was much further out, say I'm fishing in a lake, and it's he's say 20 metres out that way, I've just hooked up, I can pull that rod up a little bit higher, once again to keep a nice even amount of pressure on that rod, but to put some serious hurt on the fish's end. Now, it's also important that when a fish lunges, when they kind of do that pull down, whether they're trying to dive for structure or just trying to get that bit of energy out to try and get the hook out of them, it is really important that we kind of follow them and guide the rod down with them. Often we'll see people trying to put hurt on a fish, the fish will lunge, and that's when it puts the rod in a really vulnerable position. So it is super important to keep that nice even bend so we're not putting pressure on particular spots in that rod. Typically what tends to happen is people will lift their rod up quite high when the fish is down near their feet. It puts a heap of pressure towards the tip section of the rod in one particular point, and they go bang really frequently, which is definitely not what we want with our nice expensive graphite rod. So we're actually going to give you a demo of what happens if you do it wrong. Alright, so I'm going to pull up high, like so. Glennie's going to pull back. Bang. Busted graphite rod. Be mindful, this is only 8-pound line. You get to a point in the rod where you lose all power. You don't have, I was putting, on my end it felt like I had nothing on there. It just felt like there was a heap of pressure up towards the tip of the rod. I could feel that kind of pressure building up in the center of the rod, and it'll get to a stage where you don't have that power on a fish either. It's just putting all that pressure in that particular spot on the rod and they go crack. Now, this being a 3 to 6 kilo rod, relatively heavier than your 1 to 3, 2 to 4 kilo rods. With those even lighter rods, you have to be even more careful of it because they will go a hell of a lot easier than that. It is applicable to all graphite rods, whether it's a 50-pound rod, whether it's a 3 kilo rod, it doesn't matter. It's super important to hold them correctly, point them in the right spot, and you will not have a drama if you do it all right.